Hey, what's up, guys? Tuki here, back again with another episode of this wonderful series of mine. I'm not quite sure if you'd call it wonderful at this point, but we're back again with another episode of the Montreal Canadiens franchise mode series. And today, after a disappointing end to our season in the playoffs at the hands of the Buffalo Sabres, we look to move forward. We look to finally get some prospects into our team, aside from Phil Shea as a goaltender. Although, of course, the Laval Rocket did do incredibly well. Maybe we'll bring back some of those players who had a strong season, or maybe not. I have no idea what we're going to do, because the fact is, we still have some players on our team where you could argue maybe maybe they weren't the right players to acquire, whether that is an Edward Cizik. Maybe he's just a bit too valuable to have wasted on the third line. We got a lot of different options that we have to consider here. We do have the 11th overall selection, thanks to the first round pick from Tampa. I do believe that was the Carey Price trade, so maybe we can win that deal, aside from the fact that the Lightning did not make the playoffs, which is pretty nice. Actually, maybe Carey retired. Make me feel a little bit better. Tell me Carey retired. Not yet. Okay. Well, soon enough. Soon enough. We made the right, we made the right move, getting out from underneath that deal. Let's go ahead and clear out the trade block. Let's get right down to business, shall we? Now, as far as the team goes at the moment, of course, the big question as to whether or not, or the big decision we have to make, there's a franchise level player. The big decision we have to make is the timing. When do we make these moves? What, again, who do we go out and acquire? And just when you think you have your mind made up, there's a franchise level player in the draft. Ned Panayi. Ned. His name is Ned. And whether or not we can somehow pull off a deal to get him, I have no idea. As far as other options, though, it looks like we're going to find ourselves a little bit of a steal in the third round with Russell Dixon from the Kootenay Ice. It's not looking too great aside from that, but, maybe, just maybe, this could be a special draft for us. Now, the Anaheim Ducks are probably not going to want to move that pick. They do not, which means this is going to be an incredibly difficult move to pull off if we somehow, even have the pieces to make it happen. Goaltending, we're fine. Spike Richmond, Phil Shea, we're good for the future. We have Condon signed. Actually, no, we don't. That's right. I was going to give him 2 years. We only gave him 1 year. So our goaltending for the future is set. On defense, there's still question marks. Lucic and Franzen, we know that they're here. They're basically our top pairing now, which is fine. Noah Juleson as a second pairing shutdown defenseman, I am still okay with, although as you can see in the postseason, he didn't do that well, and his contract is coming up. Cale Makar, who we signed as a free agent, did score 22 goals, only put up 29 points in total. Maybe it's worth getting rid of him for now. Quentin Hughes, somebody that we, really had high hopes for, 41 points in the regular season, 71 the year before, so he really dropped off. And Norm Jenks is still good for the third pairing on the left side. So the big question I have right now is as to whether or not we should keep Cale Makar. Or should we go out and find somebody different? Because when you think about the likelihood of us pulling off a trade for the number 1 pick, it's not going to happen. Even if we use Cizik, even if we use our number 1 selection from Tampa, it's just not going to happen. Now, we do have quite a few selections, 11, 16, 23, 25, and 17 for some reason. That's out of order. We have a lot of picks in this draft. We have half of the second round, apparently. I just don't know if these picks are valuable to pull off a major deal. Even that Tampa pick, it doesn't have that much value. We can try. We can try, because with Cyzik, I acquired him knowing that there was a chance he wasn't going to develop. Doesn't have the best shot. It's the 78 offensive awareness that just hasn't improved. That's going to be the biggest problem. If we could get this guy for the top line, you could argue that Simmons is going to be good enough for the top line. God, we have so much to worry about, though. Joel Farabee, is he good enough? Apparently. Josh Norris, not so much. Farabee's showing up as an 86 right now. I'll see what I can do about acquiring this pick from the Anaheim Ducks, because it will be worth it. A franchise-level player is always worth it. The 20... Are you... I wish I had face cam. Are you serious? That... What? That's all it took. Did I fuck? No, I didn't. First, what? Cyzik and the 23rd overall selection for the number 1 overall pick that they didn't want to trade. Never in a million years would I have expected that to go through. Talking about... When talking about my habits in pick hoarding and how I always say, you know, safety net a trade with a couple of lower picks, I think that's evidence that by me throwing in that 23rd selection, I never expected that to go through. Not a chance. I would have bet my house. I don't even own this house, but I would have bet it that that wouldn't have gone through. I like, now I'm wondering, should I have tried to give up less? I'm stunned. Absolutely stunned. Because of this, we get to draft Ned Panayi, who is medium franchise, 80 overall as a rookie. What just happened? How did that happen? I cannot believe it. Wow. I'm stunned, guys. I'm sorry. I know I haven't really said anything for the past minute and a half. Even with Cizik's value, I didn't think a first-round pick would be enough. You guys have seen in the past where teams that don't want to trade the number 1 pick, I've offered them 4 or 5 first-round selections. It hasn't gone through. I've offered them 4 first-round picks with a player of Cizik's caliber. It hasn't gone through. The hope now is that we're making the right choice and that Cyzik won't actually develop with his offensive awareness. I cannot believe that just happened. We have a 17-year-old phenom in Ned Panayi. 84 offensive awareness, solid shot, such a well-rounded player. And he's 17 years old. I am just stunned. Absolutely stunned. Wow. Again, I wish I had face cam, because these pauses and these, you know, temporary, you know, moments of silence, I'd say would probably be much more, you know, impactful or powerful, you know, if you could actually just see the befuddlement on my face right now. I cannot believe that just happened. And because of that, and knowing that this might be a buyer's market, now might be the time to try and go out and acquire a solid right-hand shot. Whether using Cale Makar to do so, Noah Juleson and Cale Makar, we'll figure that out. Let's see if there's anybody that, fits the bill here for a defenseman second pairing behind Larson. Altschuler is a lefty. Wow, what a beast. What a beast that guy is. And again, they had Sweeney as well. The other franchise level player. I believe he was the last franchise level player to be selected until today. Rasmus Dahlin, a monster for the Islanders. There's got to be someone else. Anthony DeAngelo's turned into a pretty good player. Eric Carlson, who's this Gallant guy? Joshua Gallant, 21 years old, 78 overall. Not that I want to make Ottawa better, though. It's not a good idea. Solis, 22. No, thank you. Is there anybody here? Foss? No. Again, I'd prefer to make this deal. Man, Dennis Sloan. Holy shit. Isaac Reagan, 22 years old, medium elite enforcer, 64 overall. Sloan would have been a hell of a pickup too. I'd prefer a right-handed shot. We actually might not find anybody, which is okay. I'm cool with the players we have now, but it's at least worth looking. And I, again, don't really want to make one of our, top rivals any better. I think we've learned our lesson and have made that mistake plenty of times. I cannot believe what the hell just happened, guys. I am still just shocked. Now, as far as right-handed defensemen, there's really nobody better. So the big question is, forward-wise, is there somebody better? Now, Isaac, again, is an incredible third-line player. But is it worth giving up that much to have a third-line player? Absolutely not. As you get a good look here, our top 6 this season is basically locked in. Don't know if we'll keep Josh Norris. But right there, that's our top 9. That's the cutoff point with Philip Deneau. That's our team. Aside from Graham Knott and Roussel, maybe a change here or there, that's basically our team. Now, I could look. If you look at the overalls here as well, we have, of course, Kurt Cunning, Atkinson, Farabee's a legit second liner, Garlock's on the third, Simmons is on the third, Norris is a second. So right now, we could go out and acquire one more player who's guaranteed to be top 6. There's no point, because Panayi very quickly is going to be a first-line guy, which means second line in the future is probably going to be Farabee, Simmons, and whatever center we find. Unless we play Garlock there, or we play Atkinson or Cunning on the second line. So our top 6, really our top 9, moving forward, is locked in. My thought process here, though, is do we use the draft picks that we have to go out and try and acquire somebody, or do we risk it all with the draft? And it would certainly be a risk. Now, Isaac. The problem with Isaac, the offensive awareness, and he's not that good of a center. That's why I moved him over the right wing. But as a third-line player, it's just that offensive awareness that drags him down. So we'll pass on acquiring him. There's nobody on Anaheim that I want. Clayton Keller's there. Riopel. Brock Riopel. Pretty well-rounded player. Decent enough center. I think I'm just going to risk it the rest of the way. We have players right now who might be good enough. We know that we need to draft a ton of players. I don't believe I can crash the draft at this point, despite, the ungodly amount of picks that we have. Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it. Let's rebuild this team. When it comes to the draft class, maybe trading up would be a better option. We don't know how good Simon would be. Bertram. Helm is the other kind of guarantee. Simon, Simon, exact elite as a defenseman. He's a lefty. I want him, though. Boston, let's talk. Let's talk. Rather than trading for players, maybe now is the time to trade for picks. We have the Tampa 11th selection. I don't think we're going to have... we have enough to get it done. It's just how much do we want to give up? Second rounder from Calgary. Let's give up another second. This one from Colorado. How close are we to a deal? Still not all that close. And maybe the 91st, that third round pick. Is that enough? No. All right. You know what? I think we have our guy. I think we have to move forward now at this point. I'm still wondering if I could use those picks to maybe pull off something, but I don't think it's going to be possible. I think we just make these selections and try to get whatever steals that we can. Even if they're not going to develop and we end up having to flip them, let's find out what happens. So we know we have the 11th pick. There's a chance that Lundmark, Stewart, or Fritz could fall to us. If not, we have Boguniecki. Boguniecki. All right, great name. We could take the risk on Dingle. Kelly Dingle. That's an incredible name. Celios as well. Oh, man, we have a chance here. Celios, Yzerman, Brophy. If we trusted that high elite potential, we have a chance here without trading up to do some damage. So let's go. Connor Sheary and Jared McCann, absolutely not. So Stewart's off the board. Sanderson, Lundmark, Tallinder, Fritz, Tamara. Ooh, damn. Medium elite, 79 overall. This was a really good draft. This was an incredible draft. Simon, medium elite, 80 overall. No wonder why the Bruins didn't want to move. Helm, Bertram, and Tamara. All tremendous players. How the hell did we get the #1 pick? How? It does not make sense. It simply doesn't. That is incredible. And the choice here is obvious. We're going with Celios. Edgar Celios, the 18-year-old Canadian, played for the North Bay Battalion. He is the choice. Medium elite, only a 56. So he is one of those players who is more than likely going to be a bit more useful by trading him instead of actually keeping him. So he'll have more value than Voros, Taylor, Reinprecht, or Luongo. We have back-to-back picks here as well. He'll have more value, but the odds that he becomes an NHL player, quite slim. I'm not going to take the risk with Dingle. We're going to take this defenseman, Ernest Yzerman. What is he, 55 years old? Ernest Yzerman. 6'5", 209 pounds. That's a two-way and a right-handed shot. There we go. Ernest Yzerman is a 63, medium top 4. Not bad. Talk about, restocking the cupboards. This is a good start. Now we take Boguniecki or Martin next. Or we take the risk, I can't, with Dingle and Brophy. I can't. Even with someone who's completely... How is he unscouted? Rich Clifford, how did he sneak through at 19 years old? Or the Finn, Rickard Tuomainen. It's Martin, Boguniecki. I could take the risk with Dingle or Brophy. You'd still expect them to be half decent. But Rich Clifford, 17 years old, 5'9" sniper. How did he go undrafted or unscouted? The Swede, that's understandable. Do we go for Boguniecki and or Martin as the guarantees? Or do we take the risk with Rich Clifford? Now's the point in time in this series where we have to take risks. I'm going with Clifford. Yes, there we go. I had a feeling. Rich Clifford, another medium elite player. Look at this frickin' draft, man, through 4 picks. Only a 56 overall. But talking about the potential that these players have, whether as trade bait or because they're both young enough, and we've had this debate within the Hartford series as well, we could give them a chance to develop, especially Clifford, who's only 17, 56 overalls. I mean, I don't think they'll develop, but right now, literally this instant, I could, find those players that I was talking about. If we, for example, go to Arizona, Riopel, we know how good he is. I could easily acquire him now. Wouldn't want to make a big deal with Boston, although to be honest, it would kind of screw Boston over. Ling, we could acquire J.C. Ling or Harvey Bolesky, who's 21 at this point. We could acquire both of them off of Boston and completely ruin the Bruins. Completely. By taking away their two best prospects. It's just a question of how cheap do we want to be. Even Willie DeMaio, who was a Montreal pick. 72 overall, 20 years old. I mean, stat-wise, he's still a little bit of a ways away, but we could easily acquire him right now. And I have a feeling DeMaio is in the same boat as the players that we just drafted. I'd say that's their ceiling. DeMaio being a 72 at 20 years old is probably the best we could see both players we just drafted at that age. That's probably as good as they would get. My one issue is I want to get your feedback on whether or not we will let these players develop or if we make a move right now. The problem with that is if we make a move right now, we have the draft picks that we can use. If we don't make the move, then we lose those extra draft picks. Riopel could absolutely be the replacement for Josh Norris. 100%. We could take Ling and Bolesky away from the Bruins, and if those two players that we acquire or that we send over there don't develop, that's an absolute steal. Those are the main two that I've noticed, even above DeMaio. So we have an option in Arizona. We have two options in Boston. With Columbus, there's nobody. Nobody in Dallas. For Detroit, we know that they have Finger, Peltier, the Hartnells, Kristanovich as well. Detroit's done incredibly well with their rebuild. So it's risky. Because we still have first round picks that we could use. We're going to go through this draft. We're going to see if we can get lucky. It is risky because, again, with the first round picks we have left in this draft, we could go out and acquire both of those players from Boston right now. Using Clifford and using Celios, along with a first round pick, we could get those players. Instead, we're going to hope to strike gold again. We'll see. We will see if we can hit the jackpot yet again. We absolutely made the right choice. Over any of them, we made the right choice. We'll see if we can strike gold yet again. And maybe end up with yet another prospect of that caliber. That is the hope. I'm not trusting Brophy. I'm not trusting Martin. Lindback. Bonk. Tuomainen. Järvinen. Now again, we didn't scout them. Jonas Rizzi, 17 years old. Dmitry Mironov, the Russian. He's a big guy too, 6'4". What else do we have here? Anybody guaranteed? Medium elite and Gentile, not guaranteed. So it's Lindback, Ulf Lindback, Swedish sniper. Or do we go for Martin? You know what? We took the risk last time. I'm going to go for the guarantee this time. Casey Martin, 18 years old, played for Saskatoon. He's the pick. Medium top 6, 57 overall. Not bad. Won't have a ton of potential, but he's a solid pick. I would have gone with Lindback, more than likely. I'm happy with my choice. We didn't really miss out on anybody too crazy. I just don't know if this is the right decision to make these picks, but we're doing it. Bonk, Tuomainen, Järvinen, Rizzi. Mironov. 6'4", 204, 18 years old. Center out of Russia. I'm going for him. The Russian, Mironov. Medium top 6, 56 overall. Not bad. Not bad at all. Practically a power forward. Who did we miss out on, if anybody? This draft has been tremendous for us. I mean, we've hit with every single pick. I don't think that's debatable. Tuomainen would have been a really good pick. Järvinen would have been a really good pick. So back-to-back solid Finnish defenseman. And Bonk would have been decent too. So all of the players I was considering picking would have been solid. With the exception of the high top 9 sniper that I pointed out before. Now in the second round, Rizzy's still on the board. You have this goalie, Xavier Cohen. Medium elite Gentile. Do we trust in that? Not really. There's Russ Peterson, 17-year-old goalie. Anybody else here in the second round that we can kind of trust? Not really. We're in crapshoot territory. Tyrone Moroz, 18-year-old defensive D-man. High top 6 and Cook. Yeah, it's just best guess time. With the exception of the player that we know about in the third round. I don't remember his name. Dixon. We know he's pretty much a guarantee. Oh, so who do we go with? Do we go with Rizzy? He's still on the board. Which is kind of a bad sign. Do we go with the goalie and Cohen? We don't need a goalie, but we know all about their value. There is Taratukin, the Belarusian, Ruslan Taratukin, 19 years old. I gotta go for the goalie. I have a good feeling about Taratukin, but I'm trusting my gut. I'm gonna go for Xavier Cohen. Although Peterson's 17. Medium started though, we scouted him out twice. You know what? Russ Peterson, 17-year-old goaltender. Yes! Medium elite. We get another one. Only a 51 overall. There is not a chance in hell he makes it to the NHL. However, if you guys want to see somebody like Clifford stick around and we actually give him a chance to develop, I am more willing to do that now. We actually couldn't have gone wrong with Cohen or with Peterson, although Cohen was 2 overall points better. Thank God we didn't pick Rizzy. We could now move Peterson to get a deal done, and we can keep Clifford and the other medium elite drafted. Taratukin would have been a disaster for us too. Cohen was a solid pick. To be honest, I was hoping Cohen was still on the board. I would have taken him too. Oh boy, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Who do we go for here? Who do we go for? We don't know anything about Wall. We know very little about Ellis, Denisov, Fenton. Alright, so who do we have? Jesse Wall, 17-year-old Swiss national. Joe Ellis, 18. Ivan Denisov. And Drew Fenton. Going for the 17-year-old. Jesse Wall is the pick. Played in Luzerne. Medium top 9. Alright, so that's the first pick where it's a bit of a disappointment. It is. We didn't miss out on anything, though. Nobody else managed to get, anything better. So that's not bad. But it wasn't a tremendous pick for us. You know what? I'm going to go for the safe bet right now. I'm going to go for the safe bet right now just to get it out of the way. Russell Dixon. More than likely low elite, but still worth picking up right now. Yeah, low elite. 67. Wow, we have 3 picks in a row. 67 overall, though. That's a really good pick. 67 overall, low elite. That's a really solid pick for us. You can definitely keep him around to see how he develops. Now, the question is, at this point, who do we go for? It would either be Ellis, Denisov, or Fenton, I believe. Could risk the pick on Tyrone Moroz. I'm leaning towards Denisov and Moroz right now. Cook, I don't have much faith in actually being that good. There's a chance. There is a chance, but it's slim. If I'm going to take the chance on anybody, it's going to be Morose. 6'4" defensive D-man. Let's hope for the best. Medium top 6. All right, so that's a bit of a swing and a miss. Two, back-to-back meh picks. Nothing too crazy. Ivan Denisov, the Russian playmaker, 18 years old, is my third selection. And again, not great. So Dixon was a solid pick, but Wall, Morose, and Denisov are all a big-time step down from who we had drafted previously. But again, nobody else is walking away with incredible picks here. So I'm good with who we've ended up with. They're going to provide some good organizational depth, although they're not anything to write home about. Do we go with Fenton? Or do we look elsewhere? We don't know anything about Alsner. Norm Culp. Great name. Curtis Layton. Cam Griffith, 6'3" Norwegian. We don't know anything about Tim Lehman. 19 years old. Delzato, Ralph Delzato. I mean, again, at this point, it is just shot in the dark. Lawrence Pope. Medium elite, Avery. The one hope is that he'd be like medium top 4. But he'd probably be medium 6. 6'4" defensive D-man, Kirk Avery. We also have Joseph McCauley, who's 17. We don't know a damn thing about him. There's also Haley. I'm going to take the chance on McCauley. Joseph McCauley from the Brandon Wheat Kings, 17 years old, 6'3". So for the best, low top 4. It's not bad. It's a little bit of a step up compared to what we have been drafting. We have 2 more picks in the second round. This has worked out really well, and we have options moving forward. So let's take a look here. Oh, second to third round. Do I want to start considering players? I was considering players in the third round, I do suppose. I mean, every player so far that I've seen with elite potential, we've passed on, and they haven't been great. So I'm not totally won over by the idea of drafting Avery or Haley. But if we don't, it's just best guess, of course. We could go for Harrington. It's worked out once. Dustin Harrington, 18 years old. There was also the low top 9, the Slovenian Rocky Morris. That's a great name. Is this Mario Lemieux? It's not, it's Marcel. I'm going to go for the Slovenian. Rocky Morris, 19 years old. Medium bottom 6. Okay, our worst pick yet, unfortunately. I don't know what the hell that sound was. Don't know what that is. But it happened. It happened. And it's at this point in the draft where, it's just hope for the best. So, Tim Lehman, 19-year-old Canadian. Why not? Medium top 9, not too bad. Not too shabby. We don't have another pick until late in the third round. We are approaching the end of this draft, actually. Cook, medium elite. All right, so Cook was a player that we missed out on. Delzato was low top 6. Haley was low top 4. Schwannard, Avery, Pope, all players I was considering. None of them, none of them I'm really shedding a tear over missing out on, except for the medium elite, of course. But we've had our fair share. Victor Eudes is there. Harrington's still on the board. I'm going to go for Dustin Harrington. We were looking at him before. Medium top 9. Not too bad, I think. Nope. Okay, we do have at least one more pick left in this round, potentially in this draft. Let's take a look. 91st overall in what has been a tremendous draft for this franchise as we get some organizational depth back. But of course, the success we found last season makes it that much more hilarious. Do we take the risk with Louis Foucault? We've already been burned by one Foucault. Do we want to be burned by another? Suppose that's the question. And judging by who's available, Unless we think Bradley Rammer could be half decent. You know what? Let's take the risk on Bradley Rammer, the Canadian. Low top 6, 57 overall. Not bad. Not bad. I do suppose, as all of a sudden now we're getting a ton of offers. Whoo! Marcel Lemieux. Medium top 6. Again, I don't know what that sound was either. It's kind of like a dozing off Mrs. Doubtfire who's been drugged. Just woo. I can't make the sound again. Foot was low elite. Wood was medium top 6. Carney was low elite. Rice Miller was low elite. Alright. So we missed some names. I'm not upset about it, though. Look at who we drafted earlier. We're doing okay. We could go with Serge Gagné. It could work out for us. Maybe the Russian Dmitry Shirokov. Let's go for the goalie. When in doubt, go for the goalie. Serge Gagné is the pick. Medium starter at a 54. Not bad. Not tremendous, but not bad. I'm sure we missed out on somebody, right? I'm sure we did. But at this point, unless it's the franchise level player, I'm not exactly going to be upset. We've had ourselves a tremendous day. Absolutely tremendous. So with our pick here, I believe closing in on our last selection, we have the American Stephen Wheel. Steven, take the wheel. We have Funk, Crab, Packard, getting the Packard. Oh, hey Arnold, what a show that was. This guy's low league interest, at least, not low elite. This guy has some league interest. Mario Gugnon. We have Ryan Sweetland, who we know is garbage. No league interest. Yeah, you're kind of garbage too, aren't you? Oh, who do we take here? Who do we take? There's so many players that we don't know anything about either. I mean, Watt, we can kind of assume is not that good. Appel, we can assume is not that good. We scouted him out that many times, but he doesn't have exact potential. Come on now. No, we're just going to have to guess here. We're just going to have to guess. Certainly don't want to scroll down too far towards the 7th round. So it's going to be either Steckel, Wheel, Kreider, or the other unknown in Buckley. Gordy Buckley, 19. Why not? Gordy. That's why. That's why. You weren't great. I think that's it for our draft, as we got an offer for R&H, but it's not going to happen no matter how many times Vegas offers it to me. Go ahead, Vegas. Keep trying. Maybe I'll change my mind suddenly. No, I don't want Brock Nelson either. There we go. The draft is complete. What a draft it was. It starts off with a bang as we acquire the number 1 overall pick. And we're in such a good spot. That's the only way to put it. We have so many options moving forward, so many players that we can move out. As again, I will get you a look here. I thought it froze, and I had a mini panic attack. That's great. Goaltenders, for example, Richmond, he stays. Condon, he goes. I'm not going through all of this right now. Hallinan, he goes. Alex Lyon, see you later. Peterson, we know he's not going to develop, but he has good trade value. He gets traded in the next episode whenever we find out what we actually need for this team. For a lot of these players, we'll keep the core together. We'll see how certain players develop. And then once we find out, okay, this guy's going to go, we package whoever with Russ Peterson and go out and get somebody great. That is the tactic. That is the strategy. Serge Gagné being Canadian, he won't get signed right away either. So we are going to have to bring in some goaltenders. Noah Juleson will look to resign. Same with Norm Jenks. But the defense from last year at the AHL level, see you later. All of you, except for maybe 1 or 2 of you. Maybe 1 or 2 of you one or two of you can stick around, and I think you guys know what two I had in mind to keep around, one of whom is already a lock. Yzerman, we can see how he'll develop, 63 overall at 18 years old. I'm not confident in McCauley. I'm not confident in Moroz either. But, you know, we could have done worse. But that's clearly a need right there. So, say for example, Josh Norris doesn't make the cut. We package him together with Peterson and go out and get a great defensive prospect, which we were considering anyway, because I'm not quite sure Cale Makar's the guy. But we have so much to settle when it comes to this team moving forward that we're going to save it for another episode. I don't know about you, but this is the most positive I have been about this team since the February collapse. I feel like we're on the right track. How could I not, when we just acquired a franchise-level player? I can only see this going well, which scares me into thinking it might not go all that well. Guys, I hope you did enjoy this episode. If you did, of course, support the video, support the channel. It's greatly appreciated as always. Links are in the description. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.